Hey guys, so this time I have a lens review for you. This is the 35mm f1.2 Neewer lens. You can get it for around $99 on Amazon right now. I found the lens has a pretty good build quality. It has great bokeh. It's decently sharp in the center, but it's soft at its lowest aperture setting, so you might have to stop it down in order to get some sharpness. I found it has very low levels of distortion, very low levels of chromatic aberration, which is good. However, it does have some lens flaring going on. So let's do a quick unboxing. The lens comes in a rather cheap box, and inside it comes in another rather cheap looking bag. There's actually no padding in here. It does come with a cap for both ends, and the lens feels rather solid in the hand. I do like the design here and the construction. It doesn't have the ebbs like the 7 Artisans in the focus ring. I found the focus rings are rather smooth, and it has non-clickable aperture ring. It has plenty of throw. I measured around 45 degrees of throw on the focus ring, so this is nice. So let's take a look how sharp this lens is. At f1.2, in the middle is kind of soft, and in the corner is very soft actually. Let's take a look at f2. It's very soft in the corner and a little bit of improvement in the middle. At f2.8, much improvement in the middle, and it still remains very soft in the corner. At f4, very much improvement, now usable in the middle, still a little soft in the corner. At f5.6, much more improvement in the middle. It is finally very sharp, and improvement in the corner, but still somewhat soft. At f8, it remains sharp in the middle. The corner remains blurry and soft. At f11, we start seeing the effects of refraction, and it gets soft again, and the corner remains a bit soft, and f16 corner remains a bit soft. The middle is slightly sharper. So overall, I give this lens 3 out of 5 on the sharpness front, because once you stop down, it is actually very sharp in the middle, but it is not sharp wide open. So let's take a look at distortion. This is good news here. There is very little distortion on this lens. This is at f1.2, we see no distortion happening. At f2, we see the same, and it so remains through the rest of the aperture settings. So this is excellent. I give it a 5 out of 5 in the distortion front. So let's take a look at vignetting. I'm looking at the sky in this picture, and there is a very slight vignette throughout the focal range. You can tell if you take a look at the asphalt here, the asphalt in the middle is a bit more brighter, but it's not very noticeable. Same thing here. I'm not sure if you can tell, but if you look closely, the asphalt in the middle is a bit brighter. Same thing with the sky. The sky in the middle is also a bit brighter than when you take a look at it on the edges. Overall, however, the vignette is very soft, not noticeable a lot, so I think it's good here. We give it a 4 out of 5. So let's take a look at chromatic aberration. I did notice some chromatic aberration on the edges that have high contrast. For example, here in the hood of this intake of the engine, there's some purple fringing showing up, and if we zoom a little bit closer, then there it is. There was some fringing, not too much. You really have to dig in close. Again, here you can tell some fringing on the left hand side. Let's take a closer look, and there it is, a little bit of purple fringing happening, but not much again. Overall, the fringing and the chromatic aberration was not bad, so this is somewhat good here. Let's take a look at lens flaring. Yes, there's a lot of lens flaring, and you often even see it in daylight as shown in this picture. You definitely have to wear a hood when you use this lens. This is actually really bad and needs a lot of improvement, so 1 out of 5 in the lens flaring front. So let's take a look at the overall user experience of this lens. I was not able to take too many pictures wide open with this lens, as it is so soft wide open. It is almost unusable wide open. However, once you stopped down to f5.6 or f4, is where it is most usable, and that's where I was shooting most of these images. The bokeh is nice, but it somehow does not feel like a 1.2 lens. I've used 1.2 lenses and even 1.4 lenses that have more bokeh, so somehow I feel like the bokeh is not very accurate, or it was just called a 1.2, but it actually is not. The up close performance was okay. You have to be about 1.5 feet to 2 feet away in order to get a shot. It doesn't focus any closer than that, but you do get a slight telephoto, so it seems like you're closer, but you're actually not. And finally, the lens quality and the build quality was fairly good. The focus rings were a pleasure to use, and the aperture ring was very nice as well. Overall, very good experience with the build quality. The only thing I would have to say is that the lens cap threads, there's very few threads there, so my lens hood that I bought here from Amazon was actually spinning freely. I'm not sure if this is due to the lens hood, but I did experience this issue. So overall, on the user experience front, I had a somewhat good experience here. I was able to use the lens top down. Using the lens itself was a pleasure. It focuses fairly well, and I didn't have too many other issues with it. And I was pretty happy with the results that I was getting. So overall score for this lens, I give it a 3.17 out of 5. The things you're going to have to be watching out here for are lens flaring. If you're going to be shooting in the sun and you know you're going to have that issue, then I would watch out with this lens as it has horrible flaring, but you can always add a lens cap. Even with the lens hood, however, it was still a problem, so I would watch out. But overall, the lens is sharp and the user experience was great. I didn't have any other issues with chromatic aberration or with anything around distortion. So I think this lens is somewhat good and it's worth checking out, especially given the low price of only $99. So thank you guys for watching. I'll leave you guys with some more shots that I took, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.